Okay, Naka is playing Shredded again, who unfortunately had a disconnect earlier. 2-3-4-2 on the 15 minutes. How many games is that over on the 15-minute auto parrying? So that's quite a few games, 114 games to be 2-3-4-2. So the ranking of Shredded is on 15-minute control is rank 5. So rank 5, brilliant stuff. So, okay, hang on, let's just try and comment. I'm trying to get my head in gear for these games, actually, just commenting on ICC. So, has White got anything from the exchange of dark square bishops? I don't know, I don't know. So this exchange of queens, would it be favourable for White for the c-file, for c5, to put pressure on the c-file? If White can castle and double up rooks, can it use c5? There's a break with f6 for Black. Later, I don't know, f4 would support that, so can Black undermine the pawn chain here, or what is he going to use, the c4 square? He's going to try and solve this bishop problem here. This looks better for Naka than the other game, which I think he was in quite a bit of trouble actually, but not sure at the end. Okay, so is White going to try and play King D2 and double rooks here? Or maybe F4? I don't know about this F file being useful for Black later. B5 is slightly weakened with that, but the exchange of light square bishops will give Black access to C4 more later. I don't know about this, rerouting the knight to E3 to support maybe F5 later, off taking maybe, or knight G4 to E5 at some point. Rerouting this knight to E3. What else is the knight doing here? Well, I suppose he could. I don't think C1's that useful. I think the knight reroute like this to E3 is potentially quite good. Okay, so doubling the rooks, bishop b5. This looks like it could be quite painful for black here. Knight a1 is a key manoeuvre here, isn't it? Just to get... Okay, so he plays rook c1, he plays bishop b5. This knight's holding up d4. What problem does white face here, strategically? Or tactically, for that matter? I think positionally he can improve the knight. What does black play for? I just think it's a very difficult position here. Is he going to allow rook c7 if he plays knight b8, rook c7? Don't know. Okay, big think here. What do you think is a good plan for black? Let's explore knight b8 for a moment. Rook c7, hitting the bishop. Bishop a6, maybe. Is that actually possible, or is it losing a piece? Bishop takes a6. Of course he'd be losing a piece. Oh, I can't. Okay, forget that. Okay, I don't know how black gets out of this. Now he's released the tension here. So bishop b5 remains like lurking over black. But what else? This knight maneuver can now, doesn't need knight a1. It can go to d2 to f3, maybe to g5 later. It's got a g4 break, maybe to use the g file or to put pressure on f5. Maybe even undermine d5. So h3 and g4. Use the g file. Okay, there's a few kind of plans here. Black could be put under severe time pressure as well, potentially. But for black, I just think it's always a bit depressing because with black sometimes in the French, sometimes these end games, when the tension's gone, the spatial advantage in the end game kind of counts. There's pawns like attacking key squares. Just need knights to kind of do damage later. Or open up the position to expose like a weakness like e6. Okay. Certainly it looks a lot more comfortable than the previous encounter game we saw for white. White seems to have a very pleasant position here compared to that double pawn position. Naka's been playing 15-minute all night, is he? Okay, so this bishop a6 playing out, it's viable here. Is it rook c7, bishop a6? No. I keep thinking that. Alright, it might happen actually. If bishop takes, then the rook takes, c7 takes, bishop d3. He wants to weaken these light squares, like c4 in particular maybe. Bishop a8 is like, well, it loses a rook, bishop a8, rook takes c8. If it takes, and then, is bishop a6 just possible there? I think it's d6. If a knight comes to b5 to d6, that would be pretty nasty. It just looks a bit passive. I wonder if I should try again to play Naka, because I've still got a reasonable rating on the autoplay. I don't think I've lost too many points from that loss. So maybe if white did win this, whatever the result. Okay, this exchange is happening. Okay. So the knight can come to d6 though, potentially. Oh, he's going for b6, immediate threat. Knight takes b6, of course. If b5, knight c5. If knight c6, rook takes, then knight b6 is just winning a key pawn. Then a5 will be loose. If that knight moved, and the moment's protecting d7. He's going for e6 as well. I think black's overloaded. Moves the knight, rook d7. If he plays h6, it's just so passive. If he plays h6, okay. Interesting. But there's a fork now of e6 and h7 available. Defending against that, okay. See the knight's coming in. Is it defensible in this position? Can the king come in on the light squares? Sort of march in on the light squares. If h6, maybe knight f7 to d6. Okay, so this is interesting. Can the king march on these light squares? Can the knight use one of the dark squares? Can black defend this? It's going to be tricky. It's coming up with time pressure now, soon. Does he want now b5? No, he doesn't want now b5, but he's giving up b4 there. A lot of logic to this, giving up things to get things. But b4 wasn't even used. Okay, Naka's interested in something else here. Okay, can b4 be used? If the king comes here, b4, weaken that, weaken c5. I'm not really sure. Okay, b5 is sealed now to white's control. Knight c8 is a threat to win b6, immediate threat, knight c8 to win a pawn. But is the knight stranded after that? Okay, he's parried that. Is the king going on the dark squares? He can go on the dark squares into black's position potentially. If he gets there and forces h6, that's another target for knight f7. It's a bit of a torture position. Okay, is he going to force h6? Okay, it's a potential target on h6. Okay, now why is g4 more effective once h6 was played? Is there a reason for that? He can make a way to h5 now if he takes. Unless black wants a weak d5 pawn. King coming to h5 is nasty. The h6 is a target again. More of a target on h6 than it was on h7. The king can come to h5 now. That's an interesting thing. You wouldn't want to leave d5 weak, surely. D4 counter-attack coming. Maybe the king can't do that because of that d4 actually. And this knight e2. Can the king really afford that? No. So he's just probing and probing and probing, trying to create some weaknesses. Whoa! Nifty knight move here. G3 to, I don't know, H5 to F6. Non-knight can't really gang up on D4 here. This is just hard to play these endings with these pawn wedges sometimes. Or often. I don't think he wants to put a pawn on h5, he wants to keep that as an excess point. Does he? Maybe he doesn't. No, maybe not. Maybe he wants a pawn on h5. knight c2 or something? Is it knight h4 to g6 or knight coming to e4? There's a real knight battle here. I don't know, if the knight comes to e4, is it attacking anything? Knight g6. Sorry, knight f2. Okay, what's going on here? I don't know. This knight on e4 is a bit of annoyance, isn't it? Even if it's not attacking any pawns. Where does the white knights go here? Is there a plan for white now? It looks difficult. The king is kind of being kept out here. I don't know if that h5 is a potential target. Needs g3, and it's going to try and win h5 and create a passed pawn over there. Wow. This could be troublesome. It's going to win h5 and get that passed pawn. But h5 will give an entrance to the king on g5. Okay, it is an extra pawn, but it's kind of difficult to use that extra pawn with this pawn wedge still. Is the king going to march to win that h6 pawn? He's basically simplified the position, letting black win that pawn. I don't know if he let him or intentional or not, but whatever the outcome, one pair of knights has been swapped off now. And he's only got about a minute left. So I don't know, it's going to be tricky. If knight ever moves now, it's sort of zugzwang, knight c8 threatened, knight f7 threatened. If h5, there's king g5 as an access route now. You can take that pawn and maybe... Or is the knight stranded? Is it too committal? Maybe king g5, maybe it's not that committal. Knight h5, king g6. Isn't this a sort of weird position with knight f6, king h5, pawn down? Don't know about that. Is that a draw, that one? Is this going to be a draw? Is he going to try knight f6? Yeah, he's going to have to try knight f6. So king h5, e5, king h5. Is that a zugzwang? King f6, king h5 is zugzwang and pawn down. f7 and force that position. Looks like a draw.
Draw?
Shredded seems well worth his rating on the 15-minute auto pairing. Even against Nakamura. Amazing. Difficult position it seems to defend because of the pawn wedge in the centre. Okay, I think it's going to be a draw. That's only b4 as a break. That's going to end up losing. He can't do that. He can't get his king over, lose f4 and d4, and these pawns would come down. So I mean, it's declined his draw offer. Don't see it. Don't see any winning opportunity. His king's tied down because otherwise the king comes to g4. He can't go over there, and he can't force a triangulation. So, not sure what's the plan. If we just go back earlier, I don't know. It's like a regretful we missed something earlier here. Here in this position, I don't think king h6 is playable. e5 might be possible. If it takes d4 and if it takes f4, the king's not going to stop that passed pawn after e5 on king h6, and that stopped any potential zugzwang, it seems. Okay. So I don't know. Should carry on recording this or stop here? Oh, wait for the game conclusion. Okay, I don't get it. I think you get some points from drawing with Shirley's high rated at the moment. Anyway, 2-3-4-2, but yeah, maybe he's just disappointed about. If we look at the earlier game, White seems to have a lot of pressure. It sort of seems to be a favourable kind of French defence type position, but you know, Black resourcefully came out of that. Good stuff, defending on both sides of the board all the time. It's the knight ending kind of interesting. I don't know, very hard game. I mean, you know, I think no. Lost game pressure then. Start load now. Alright, so what's happened? It's just going to be a draw here. Someone's mentioned trying to calculate how many moves it would take for Schroeder to mate him with remaining time. 41. I think he's doing it. He's a fantastic bullet player. He'd do it. Schroeder will do it. He can't give up f4. There's no way. Oh dear. We've extended the video here. Unfortunately, because the game's extended. I just. Maybe I can go and get a coffee and come back. Anything for something dramatic and unexpected, totally unexpected. I don't know. there's nothing here, there's no tension. Okay, I could just nip. Oh, it's 2 minutes. I should have just nipped down for another coffee and I could have come back. Just left this recording, but now, okay, we have to wait 2 minutes. B4? What? Oh man, I don't get it. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Thanks so much. Necker disconnected after. Okay.